Shree Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Sindhuraruna Vigraham Tiranayanam Manikya Taranayaka Shekharam Smitamukhim Apinamakshuruham Panibhyam Alipurna Ratna Chashakam Rakpalam Vibhratim Saumyam Ratna Ghadastha Rakta Charanam Dhyayet Param Ambikam. Welcome to all for this session on Lalitopakhyanam. In the previous chapter, we were listening to the curse given by Brahma at Kama, which finally made him burn down to ashes with Rudra opening his third eye. All that was happened during the Chakshusha Manvantara during the Brahmakalpa when Brahma, in order to destroy Sunda and Upasundata, the two Danavas, by creating a difference of opinion between them, in order to make them fight with each other and get destroyed, Brahma created a beautiful damsel called as Tilottama. And when Tilottama was created, while Brahma was admiring her beauty, Kama threw his arrows in a mischief at Brahma, and that made Brahma fall for Tilottama with a lustful eye. And when Tilottama took the shape of a deer and ran away, he also means Brahma also took the shape of male deer and ran behind her. Meanwhile, Rudra and his wife Parvati they came in the form of hunter and the huntress and stopped Brahma from doing the adharma. And upon shame, Brahma immediately cursed Gandharpa, saying that one day you will going to be burned down to ashes by when Rudra opened his third eye, and that led to Kama burned down to ashes. Now we will go in this chapter, we will listen to the story of how from that ashes of Gandharpa, Bhandasura was born. So Agastya asked the same thing to Hayagriva. O wise one, chief of adepts in speech, kindly relate unto me the birth of Bhandasura and his brother in great and his brothers in great detail, O Lord. Hayagriva replied to him, when everyone had deserted Stanvashrama after Kamadahana, the place was a veritable cemetery with ashes of Kamadeva lying in a heap. Unto this desolate scenes there came Chitrakarma Ganeshwara, a great sculptor, a Pramathagana. He walked up to Kandharpa's ashes and most skillfully fashioned a form, lean, lanky, and cadaverous, matching with the surroundings from the ashes of Kamadeva. By invoking the grace of Rudra, he breathed life into the figure, and lo, that figure became alive. Thus, where Kamadeva had been burned to ashes by the wrathful flame of Rudra's third eye, there came into being the greatest of Danavas by name Bhandasura as a result of the abundant grace of same Rudra. His lean, lanky body was as hard as a diamond by virtue of inherent power of the ashes of Kandappa out of which he had risen. He was master of Maya and could create or produce illusions at will. Thin and tall in stature, with a cadaverous body formed of skin and bone only, his fierce, burning eyes instilled fear on the onlookers. He had a great, he had a large birthmark on his face and was armed with a dagger capable of inflicting the tortures of hell. Chitrakarma, who created him, felt pleased with his handiwork. Embracing Bhandasura with affection, he taught him the Shatharudriya and said lovingly, Lord Shiva is easily pleased. Propitiate him with this using this powerful mantra Shatharudriya. He will certainly grant you all you ask for, because he is now of a certainty displeased with all the devas and devatas for setting up Kamadeva to rouse passions in his ever serene heart. Bhandasura accordingly performed tapas for a full 100 days, uttering japa of Shatharudriyam with an undivided mind. Pleased with his persevering devotion, Rudra appeared before him, seated on his bull Nandi, and bade him desire boons. Bhandasura worshipped Rudra with great humility and said, O Lord, if you are well pleased with me, kindly grant that none in the three worlds should be able to take my life, that half of the energy of my foes be added unto mine, and that their astras and shastras should have no effect whatsoever on me. Lord Shiva granted him these three boons and in addition blessed him with unchallenged sovereignty over the three worlds for a period of 6,000 years. Witnessing all this, Brahma uttered the words Bhanda, Bhanda, meaning well done, it was because of this exclamation of Brahma that the Danava came to be known as Bhandasura. Lord Shiva gave him also other celestial weapons of great prowess and vanished. By the power of the mantras, Bhandasura created two powerful brothers for himself from his two shoulders. From his right shoulder emanated Vishukra of fiery eyes, equal unto Shukracharya in genius and sagacity. From the left shoulder arose Vishanga, the worldly wise, full of great energy. With these two brothers on either side of him, Bhandasura looked like Mahamoha conjoined with sin and greed. With the power of mantra were born many more Danavas with skinny bodies having deep socketed eyes, hollow cheeks, prominent gullets, crooked faces with sharp, long, and fearful teeth, and with ups and downs all over. These many Danavas collectively acquired and formed 3,000 Kshahinis. Remember, here each Akshohini is the quantity of a army. Each Akshohini consists of 21,870 chariots, same number of elephants, 65,610 horses, and 1,09,350 infantry. So, this is the size of one Akshohini, and he created such 3,000 Akshohini. And just for your reference, in the Mahabharata, the people who fought was 18 Akshohini, whereas this Danava Bhandasura has an exaggerated figure of 3,000 Akshohini army with him. All the Asuras, Danavas, and Rakshasas joined together under the banner of Bhandasura and building a large capital city in the name of Shunyaka nagara, crowned him as their king and ruler. At that moment, jackals yelled in all directions. The sky turned grey and ashy in color and rained blood. Meteors began to strike the earth, creating earthquakes and causing fire and destruction all around. With these many forebodings of evil, because all these are evil omens, these many forebodings of evil, the minds of devatas also became very dull and impure indeed. Stationed in his Shunyaka Nagara, on the east coast near Mahendragiri, with wide roads and buildings closing a vast area protected by chariots, elephants, horses, and infantry, Bhandasura reigned supreme while his foes never dared even to look upon him or his city. Thus established Bhandasura created for himself a sister who was to bring forth very powerful nephews to support him. He also took for himself 5 queens and propagate his race, and their names are Priyadarshini, Sammohini, Chitrangi, Kumudini, and Sundari. Bhandasura, together with his kith and kin and all his subjects, adored Lord Shiva and worshipped him daily, morning, noon, and at night. Regular yagas were performed for Lord Shiva in every home of Shunyaka nagara, and this sadachara of theirs was a veritable shield guarding them and yielding them all the necessary strength and energy, so much so that they wax stronger and stronger day by day. They also studied the Vedas and the Shastras, held discussions, and gleaned their secrets. This is how, if they are in the Sadachara, quite naturally their strength will be keep on growing with every day. One day, Bhandasura held a conference with his 2 brothers and spoke to them thus: O my brothers, forget not that we have very powerful and cunning foes waiting to gain by our weaknesses. They are occupants of Swargaloka and have many powerful weapons at their disposal. Our first duty is to subdue them by sucking up their rasa fluids in their bodies, by sucking up their rasa in their bodies. Indra, who rules the 3 worlds, is still powerful and prosperous, but the times are now in our favor. Is not Kamadeva dead to the 3 worlds? Indra was ever using him against the Danavas. Due to Madana's domination, passion and lust held sway over all the Asuras. Before the Devas can think of bringing Kandarpa back to life, let us dry up their life juices so that their energies will ebb. I will enter Devaloka with 1,000 Akshohinis and play havoc there. And you, Vishukra, take another 1,000 Akshohinis and carry out your mission on the face of the earth. And you, Vishanga, take the remaining 1,000 Akshohinis and proceed to Rasatala, the Patala Loka, and subdue the Nagas, Siddhas, Bali, and other dwellers therein. Let us not go in our natural forms, for we should not be discovered. Let us assume invincible, gracious forms that we may easily enter their bodies and absorb all their vital fluids. Having listened to this advice of Bhandasura, his 2 brothers expressed their great joy at the excellent proposal. Elated and eagerly saluting their brother, they took leave of him and collecting 1,000 Akshohinis each, proceeded on their respective missions. Thus, as we have seen in this chapter, from the burned down ashes of Kama, a great sculptor known as Chitrakarma created a wonderful human image which was lean, lanky, and wonderful. And then, with the grace of Rudra, the life was filled into that, and that was birth of Bhandasura. And then Chitrakarma, with the affection of a father, he gave Shatharudriya mantra to Bhandasura and asked him to recite it in order to please Rudra. And when Rudra was pleased with the severe austerity of Bhandasura, he gave him the power over all the 3 worlds and lived the world for 6,000 years, or in some other stories it says 60,000 years. So he has the capability to rule over the world without anyone opposing him. And he made him invincible across the three worlds and gave him several great astras and shastras. And with that, Bhandasura was installed at the Shunyaka nagara, and from his shoulders he created his brothers Vishukra and Vishanga, and with the help of them he is now proceeding to capture not just the Swargaloka by himself, but also the existing Bhuloka, the world, and the nether world, the Patala Loka. So they wanted to suck all the life saving, life forming juice from the body of the living organisms, and with that they wanted to rule across all the three worlds. And a blessing for them is at this point of a time the karma is dead, the karma is no longer existing, who could distract them, so they have all capability to rule over the three worlds. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmira Puravasini Swamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidyadanancha Dehime. Namaste. Goodbye.